Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is. Curbmeister Klotz, not in the garage, over at my buddy Steve's house. Today we're checking out his GT40. His is also a race car replicas, and today we're going to start it. Woohoo! Around. Hey Steve.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty exciting day, huh?
It is.
So what do you got here? Tell us about that engine.
So it's a prestige built 351 Windsor Ford. That's a stroker, a 427. And I think I received it in March of 2023, and we're ready.
And what kind of horsepower and torque are you making with this baby?
I think it was around 590 for the horsepower and a little bit under for the torque, but somewhere around there.
That's awesome.
It's been a while. The videos are already taken down, so I can't even confirm that.
Oh, the dyno video?
Yeah, they only hold it up there for a year.
Damn it.
But I've had it for 2.
Check out the bundle of snakes. Stainless, and he's heat wrapped it. You know, the heat is the killer on the back end of this thing. Look at all that beautiful anodizing he's done to the aluminum parts. Tell us about that transaxle. What about that baby?
So that's a Quaife ZF type transaxle, and came from merry old England.
How many speeds is that baby in forward?
It's 5, and then it's a H pattern.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I really love how you finished everything. Everything looks really good. You made your own engine oil, is that correct?
Yeah. The remote engine mount, because it doesn't fit. The filter doesn't fit in the front here because of the narrowness of the chassis.
Right. And what do you got here?
This is a fuel filter, one of them.
Nice.
And there's another fuel filter and pump down in the well.
Gotcha. And check out this firewall Steve's made. So tell us about that. This is your own idea here.
Well, no, I copied it from several people on the GT40's site. And so there's it's 2 walls of aluminum with sound deadening and heat shield in between.
Because it's going to be loud when you run this thing.
Yeah, and I have tempered glass sandwiched in between. And it allows you to mount on here without having the fittings on the other side.
A lot cleaner look. So I haven't done any of that. I'm definitely up for the tempered glass, and I'm going to have to wait and see how loud and how hot it is. But he's done an excellent job of. And then you made some wings too, right, to cover up some stuff?
Yeah, I have some aluminum that I bent around there. It's not finished, but it'll cover all this.
Cover all the wiring and
yeah,
make it look cleaner. So check out his dash he's got here. So Steve also went with the metal switch covers, switch panels, and he anodized them gold. Of course, he's got all his switches labeled nicely, and the gauges, and even in the footwell, he's got adjustable pedals, and he anodized all that aluminum. He's got some very custom fuel.
Unfinished fuel lines.
Yeah. Of course, the front end, all that aluminum, anodized nicely. The radiator, and he mounted his battery in the front.
That's not finished though.
But cool.
It's just temporary metal holding that up right now, but
You said you were gonna 3D print something to.
The feet underneath this. So the battery will hook into this plate, which will be attached to the wall, but I need something underneath the.
Gotcha.
So these are just temporary right now.
Oh, gotcha. I see.
Because all the hoses come underneath.
Right. Well, it's good to have the battery low, and by putting it in the front, you're getting close to the magical 50-50 weight distribution. So I was looking at the front. He's got that bar in the front. I was wondering if that was for a tow bar, but it could be tow, but right now it's structured so he can have the tilt front end. Did you say that right, Steve?
Right.
Yep.
Ordinarily, it slides on these
On the bobbins, yeah.
So it's really hard to get on and off.
And then it's more of a two-person job when you slide this on like that. But instead, I'm going to go with a similar idea of tilting it up, have access to the whole front end. He's done a really nice job of wiring. So very cool. He's got the knockoffs, 15s.
Yep.
Yep. And we are going to fire this baby up, aren't we? We're going for the start.
Hopefully there's enough gas that we don't have to lift the front end up.
Big start. Whoa! Nice. Get someone to blip the throttle there. Got check that out. We got woohoo! Nice. That's awesome. That was the choke.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There it is.
Charlie was helping us. He was the man on the throttle.
Yeah.
Father and son team here. Pretty cool. That's a pavement pounder there. 427 cubes. Roaring. Pretty awesome. We got to hook up your tack.
Yeah.
We're up here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, on a nice blue sky day.
Yeah, it doesn't go on.
Tomorrow we're going to go to see Fran and the race car replicas.
Say hi.
We're going to say hi to Fran, yep. And done a really nice job, Steve.
Thank you.
Hats off to you. That bundle of snakes exhaust headers, or 180-degree headers as they call it, has a unique sound. Probably hard to know that by a video, but when you hear it in person, it's really cool. Second start, checking out the tachometer. Nice. Very nice. Just like that, back in the garage. I have been steadily working on this thing, getting closer to engine startup. Finished up the oil system. I mocked up or created a air intake. Some of you guys will laugh at that. I put some fuel rails on it. What else? I fabbed up the fuel fill lines. So there's 2 tanks, 2 2-inch lines, and the caps are on there. So I'll walk you through what I've been doing. Okay, this is what I've been up to. Right there is the dry sump system. It is finally secured in place. You can see the 2 tabs. It's sitting on some rubber. It's very solid, doesn't move. There are 2 -12 lines on the bottom. They were kind of a chore to get to the oil pan, but they go like this, straight across. And you can kind of see them over here. You can see the Aeroquip blue there. Hopefully you can just barely see those 2 fittings. Was a tight squeeze. Had to do a little carving on the chassis to get them there. Over here you can see the lines. Let's see if I can get it better so you can actually see. Sometimes it's too much light. So you can see that there's a hose clamp and a piece of metal because that's touching a rib in there. And I don't want to take any chances of a leak there. That's my whole oil system would go away quick if that starts to leak. And it goes through, and there's those Aeroquip fittings. That's right at the oil pan. So it's pretty much level, and I think it's going to be a good install. There's 10 quarts of oil on there right now. It does read on the dipstick itself. Dripsticks, that's aircraft. Anyway, there's 2 lines for the pump, fuel pump I should say. So I left clearance. There's a return and a pressure line. And if you look down in there, there is a brass fitting. And that brass fitting, it's too much light, is actually where Chevy takes the oil temperature from. I had to carve up that fitting and hook up my own pigtail to it. But now you can see the pigtail there on the side. Now I can remove it, and the way it was before, it wouldn't fit in there. So I'm happy with that. So the oil system is done. And it's got oil in it, filled it. I also filled the Transaxle gear lube, 7590 synthetic, and it was a little bit of a hassle there. That Transaxle's flipped upside down, so right there was the drain, now is the vent. And so they went ahead, I had this serviced, and I had that WaveTrack limited slip unit put in there, but they had to create a drain on the bottom of the Transaxle, and it dripped. I proceeded to strip it out by tightening it up too much. I had to make another drain plug for it. I have pictures of that. Got by that. So 14 millimeter is just a little smaller than a 9/16. Anyway, got over that. You see those two fuel rails there. I took off the GM system. This sits a little lower than what Chevy had on there. I bought this specifically for the LS7. LS7 has a bespoke manifold and heads, and so those fuel rails fit the injectors fine, but this hose that connects the two sides was not the right length. So I had to fab this, and I went ahead and fabbed this one too, just to look a little better. I got a fuel pressure gauge in there that's visible when you close the rear clam. So that's pretty cool. I've tested the fuel system. Both sides work. Both pumps work. No leaks. Everything's covered up. Fuel system is put to bed. And part of that system is the fuel fill system. So there's two caps, a left and a right, two tanks. And so they're not connected. And the kit comes with this nice billet cap, and it's vented. Believe me, I checked. Of course, RCR gives you a nice billet cap to screw in there, and if you use this cap, then there's no vent. It's sealed. But I'm going easy, so I'll rely on that vent. And if you look in there, there's a steel pipe, 2-inch. I went to a muffler shop. They bent me up the pipes, identical, did an excellent job. All I had to do was mount them in there. So as you can imagine, you can put your fuel nozzle in there from the gas pump, and the fuel, this pipe that I had created goes down like that, and then down in here is where the tank lives. And I created a bung on this metal tube, and that's also venting the tank to approximately here. So that came out really good. And as you can see, this is not mounted because I don't have the body work on yet. So when I get the body work, I can bolt it down. But I like the thought that I've got metal in there. When I shove the gas nozzle in there, or somebody else does, I'm not shoving it in a rubber tube. So that's pretty cool. Haven't done anything to the front end really. I sure need to do something with the wires, but gotta wait. I think you already seen the dash. Pretty proud of how that came out. I got all the labels on there now. I don't know if I did that before. There is courtesy lights in the footwells right now, and they're on. Gauges have all been tested except for the tach, of course the speedometer, and the temp gauges. Okay, so I do have a battery on there, and I smoked my alternator. I didn't have my glasses on, and I had the battery turned the other way, and I just made my connections and instantly let the smoke out of the alternator. Alternator lives right about here. Can't see, but it's down low. And I got a hold of Robert. He's an awesome guy. He knew exactly what I needed. Part numbers, got them to me fast. I went ahead and bought the rectifier or diode bridge, whatever you want to call it. And I also bought a brush holder and a voltage regulator. Parts weren't expensive. He helped me out. He's a great guy. His business is starters, alternators, power steering, Lots of automotive stuff, and I'll have his card at the end of the video. But good guy. It's always good to talk to someone that really knows what they're doing. Okay, well, you're wondering, why do I have my bug sprayer like that? Well, that line goes right to the main engine oil galley. And interestingly, I was going to have to take the alternator off anyway because it blocked the port. But I filled this up with oil. I put like 4 quarts in there. And on the other side, I put like another 4 quarts in that sump, right about there. And I proceeded to pump that oil in there. I had the valve covers removed, and I was going at about 15 to 20 psi. And I kept pumping. And then by the time I got 10 quarts in there, I was finally seeing the oil coming out the push rods. When it comes out the push rod, it drips down the rocker arms. And so I was happy to see oil. 10 quarts of oil. Of course, I had to fill up that oil cooler. All the lines to the dry sump. This engine has been upside down and backwards on that cool engine mount that I got. And it hasn't run in at least 2 years, so I wanted to prime it. After I did all that, put the rocker covers back on, disconnected my bug sprayer. It's just sitting there now for demonstration. And I cranked over the engine with the plugs out. I got a nice 45 PSI, just cranking the engine. So feel good about that. Look at that crazy air intake. I know I'm going to get some haters there, but that came with the Corvette, and it gets me my manifold airflow, and so mass airflow. What am I saying? And I had to lengthen the wire, but that connector's right here, and that tells the computer. The computer wants to know what's going in, what's going out, how much, how hot, how cold. And so I actually use a Sawzall and cut that up quite a bit to make it small. And my exhaust system is going to live right there. So if I get it back in time, I will install it, and I'll have the O2 sensors installed, and I'll just have to flip this up so it'll look even worse. But it's there for the start, and I'll have to create something when I get my exhaust system back. So that's a temporary thing. Kind of a cool view of things. Looking back there, it's so close to being ready to start. I'm ready to start it. I'm going to have my desktop computer, because my laptop is so old, set up next to the car with my HP tuners running so I can see codes and what's going on. But that's what I've been up to. Guys, I smoked my alternator. Brand new alternator. Wasn't wearing my glasses. I hooked up the battery backwards. Instantly let the smoke out. The rectifier or the diode bridge was the first thing to go. So this alternator's been rebuilt, but before I put it on the car, I want to make sure it works. So I bought parts. I bought a new rectifier. I bought another brush holder assembly because $5, why not? And I also bought a new voltage regulator, not knowing whether I smoked it or not. So right now, it's all together with the old regulator and a new rectifier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin it up with my drill, and this is only 500 RPM. It's really not enough, but if I had more RPM, I should be able to get like 14.4 volts. Right now you can see battery voltage, and as I spin this up, the voltage will drop, and then it will load the field in the alternator, and I'll start feeling torque on the drill. And as I spin it up, the voltage will rise again, and it should rise at least back to battery voltage. So remember, I'm going to slowly spin it up, and the voltage is going to drop, and then I want to see it rise again when I give it full speed. So here we go. Voltage is dropping, just spinning easy. Still dropping. Okay, now it's starting to load up. I can feel it. Wants to turn this thing. Okay, that's all I got. So I could feel the alternator loading up, and that was when it got to about 12.2, and it started loading up, and then I started increasing, and the voltage is coming back up. If I would have had more than 500 RPM, I could have brought the voltage up to 14 or 14.4 or something like that. So this is a good alternator. Tested it out. I'm going to put it back in. On.
On.
No leaks. Driver's side. Okay, off. That's all I got, guys. Been a fun week for me. I was out in Michigan. Got to be there when Steve fired up his beast. That was awesome. And I have been making good progress here. I'm close. And so thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. If you like the video, leave me a question, a comment, anything. It's always fun to hear from you guys. And as always, Meister Klotz saying, keep the shiny side up and your nuts tight.